Do. Hey everyone, how you doing? That right there for now. How you doing, King of Fat? Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome to a blood-splattered stream. I almost forgot to say that. Oh, man. I guess it would behoove me to... For now. Let's see. Hello, Sam. Nah. So how's this morning treating all of you? It's going all right, that blonde artist. How you doing? Morning, Neon Ghost Wolf. Afternoon in your neck of the woods? Fair. Fair. Totally understandable. Have you heard about the Blumhouse film Night Swim? I have not. Is that a upcoming movie? Is it going to be in theaters or one of their straight-to-streaming movies? If so, which platform? Hey, Victor Necrofunk. It do great. Hello from Bangkok. Whoa, I'm finally catching on one of these live. It helps that I'm going live really early today. Just for a little bit. Oh, man. Making a script for a potential comic? Nice. That's good. That's good. Night Swim will be in theaters January 5th. Oh, all right. I guess I'll have to check it out next year. All right, this seems like it's a little low right now. There we go. Hey, Becker Draw, how you doing? Like, the one Blumhouse movie I'm looking forward to is that Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Fuck yeah! I'm not even, like, the hugest Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but that movie looks solid. This Horror Guru cinematic universe is getting expansive. It's starting to, it's a starting point. Chit-Chat, the Guardians of the Galaxy series. Nice. The Five Nights film is by Blumhouse? Yep, it is. Absolutely. Pretty dope. I've said this on other streams, but I figure I should give the shout out as well now. The music on these streams has been provided by White Bat Audio, aka Karl Casey. I will provide a link to his YouTube channel in the description below, but he is also available on Spotify and Bandcamp, and he does royalty-free synthwave music for the use of in streaming and video making. So, if you're looking for royalty-free synthwave music to play on your streams, go check it out. Greetings and salutations, Kaiju Z. Man, I think I need to wipe my glasses off because the smudges are getting to me. Man, I look weird on camera without the glasses. I don't know what to do about it. All right. I'm curious with that Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Might be a bit too late, but George Miller proved that you can revive a dormant property with Fury Road. It's true. I mean, if you make it good enough, people will probably At the very least, give it good word of mouth. Hey, is it okay if I recommend a movie for you and Jack to see? Sure. What movie are you going to recommend? I can't guarantee that we'll see it right away, but recommendations are always pleasant. So I saw The Raid 2 yesterday. Great bigger scale sequel. Yeah. It's like it turns into like a crime movie, like a Godfather style movie, but like with a whole lot more martial arts. It's like the first one's like a pure action flick, and the second one's a crime movie with a shit ton of action. You gotta love it, though. The second movie feels like even though it's a completely different country and a completely different type of crime family, it feels like you're watching a Yakuza game. Just with how weird and over the top it gets. I love those movies. The Raid movies are so good. You recommend Talk to Me? Rock on. I believe that is in theaters right now. I'll check it out when I get a chance. What's your favorite William Castle movie? Mine is Straight Jacket with Joan Crawford. Did he do The Tingler, or was that someone else? Because if he did The Tingler, I fucking love The Tingler. Also, you know that scene in Friday Part 4 where the coroner at the hospital was watching the weird aerobics video and then Jason killed him with a hacksaw? Yeah, I recall that scene. I appreciate that the Failson realized what he had done by the end and accepted his death. Yeah. Fun fact about The Raid 2, that was the movie that he originally wanted to make. But he couldn't get the budget for it, and so he couldn't get it made. So he basically made The Raid 1 instead, and then adjusted the script he had written to be a Raid sequel after that, and then he could get it made. Which I think is so wild. As I think Yogi would say, you just be your beautiful self with or without glasses. Thank you. I appreciate it. I recommend Sympathy for the Devil with Nicolas Cage. Oh man, I'm looking forward to watching that when I get a chance. Go Hato Taboo 1999. It was Nagasa's final film. Nagasa's Oshima's final film. I'll have to check it out. What movie would you want to be remade and by whom? God, I feel like I normally have an answer for this, but now that the question's asked, I'm drawing a blank. Do you know Itchy the Killer? Fuck yeah, I know Itchy the Killer. I saw Itchy the Killer back in fucking high school. Good morning, Josh Rowe. He did direct The Tingler, then The Tingler it is. Hey man, your stream makes my day. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear from people in the streams are enjoying the streams, because I don't know why, but ever since I started streaming earlier this last week, I've been losing subscribers. And I don't know why, because I haven't stopped like uploading other videos. I've just been literally adding streams on top of my normal video workload. But I don't know, I guess some people just are turned off by it or get mad when they see the stream in their feed, but I don't know. But I really don't want to have to create a second channel just to fucking stream on. That seems ridiculous. But I guess people are really finicky and weird about this. I don't know. Hey, M85, how you doing? Though, to be fair, it hasn't been like a lot of subscribers. It's just been like 5 or so a day. But it's enough that I've noticed the normal subscriber growth start to halt and shrink. I'm hoping it's just inactive accounts being taken down. I have gotten a couple comments on some of my videos from people that were mad that the streams exist. I don't get it, but whatever. It's not the first time I've encountered this, though. It feels like anytime I add something new to the channel, I always get pushback from it, even if it's not taking away anything else. So, I don't know. Because you are real and honest. Aw, thank you, Ben. Thank you so much. After I stopped watching TYT, I need something to fill that 2-hour time. I know how you feel, Kaiju Z. I haven't watched TYT in a long time, but it did break my heart watching them go down that transphobic route. That it is what it is. I recommend another YouTuber, Bushido Blues. I think y'all would like it. I'll have to check it out. I'm always looking for new YouTubers to watch. I like watching new YouTubers, not just because I love watching different kinds of content and seeing what people create on here, but it also like inspires me. Like watching another YouTuber do something really cool, funny, or creative or insightful makes me go, oh shit, that's really awesome. And then like my creative juices start flowing. In fact, if you go back to some of my like Blood Splattered Cinema episodes, you could probably see the certain eras of like what I was watching at any given time based on the particular style changes I had made to my content. Just because through osmosis, I started making content with that inspiration. Like I think starting with Slumber Party Massacre, you can really see I had started watching JonTron and some of the Normal Boots guys around that period of time. And you can see that influence in a lot of my videos post Slumber Party Massacre. I think when I did Frankenhooker, I was watching a lot of Filthy Frank at the time, and you can really see it in like how over the top that video gets. Most American YouTubers are afraid and hypocritical in their criticism of a particular movie. Well, that's too bad. I always saw live streams as a way for creators to go off script with the audience and have an organic conversation. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it too. It's like for one of two things. Either just chill out, play a video game and talk with some fans, or just chill out and talk with some fans. Some people do this really cool thing that I just can't do because I can't split my mind in those two different directions very well. But some people I follow will edit their normal videos on live streams and just talk with fans while they're editing. I have a hard time splitting my attention between editing and talking with the chat, so I couldn't do that. But that was always really cool to me, the people that did that. I know like the Dead Meat guys do that a lot, and it's always really cool to chime in and see how the sandwich was made, so to speak, while they're chatting with their fans. I miss old Horror Guru videos, always fun to watch. I'm hoping to make more soon. I got one that's currently being edited. Are you a fan of Man's Best Friend? Fuck yeah, I love Man's Best Friend. Dr. Wolfia and Stitched Together pictures are fucking awesome. Andy and the Dr. Wolfia guy make great shit. You think Karl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force would also be watching that aerobics video as well in his living room with his pants down? I mean, yeah. I just assume that's what Karl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force does in his spare time all the time. Guru needs to be brave and stop editing out Guru Jack's farts from his videos. Oh, maybe I should just leave them in. Oh, man. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? Ironically, Man's Best Friend is one of the few horror films to upset me. Is it because of the dog aspect? Because I know it's hard to see, like, you know, dogs get killed in movies and stuff for a lot of people. Oh, the dog snake swallows a kitty. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. It's the kitty aspect. All right. I can see that. I can see that. I watch a lot of horror YouTube channels like Dead Meat, Dr. Wolfula, Stitched Together Pictures, and more. I recommend all three of those guys. They all do phenomenal content, and I wish I was as consistent as all of them are. I also recommend Brendan Tenold. If you're not following him yet, but you like those other three guys, you'll probably like Brendan Tenold. He sometimes veers a little bit more into the cult film category than just pure horror stuff, but he also does horror stuff. What are your thoughts on Eddie Murphy being in a haunted house? Just in general in a haunted house? I mean, it seems a little weird. Is he like visiting the haunted house, or is he like a scare in the haunted house? When do we get the fart cut? Release the fart cut. Hashtag. God, if enough people watch this stream, I'm going to start getting release the fart cut hashtags on all my future videos. If Jeepers Creepers 5 comes out, will it make minus money? As much as I don't like supporting the Jeepers Creepers movies, it has its fan base that's pretty loyal, so they'll probably always keep making them as long as that fan base keeps tuning into them. But for me personally, I can't bring myself to that franchise at this point. It's not. This is gonna sound so stupid, but the franchise isn't good enough for me to look past the actions of its creator. Sometimes a piece of art is so good I can look past the flaws of the creator, but sometimes the sin of the creator is too great and the work is just not good enough, if that makes sense. And I know that's super arbitrary because it's just my personal taste and like how I see things, but it's how I interact with situations like that. Brendan Tenold's great for classic cheese movies. Fuck yeah, he is. That guy impresses me the most because that guy consistently every week puts out a video, and I have no idea how the fuck he does that. I wish I had whatever work ethic or ability to edit fast that he has to do that. Eddie Murphy was in the original Haunted Mansion in 2003, which you reviewed with Jackula and Goldmark. This is correct. What are your thoughts on Dice Rollin's channel? I don't watch a lot of Dice Rollin's content, but I do interact with them on social media a lot. I like them a lot. They're really cool people, but I do not... I'm not like super familiar with their videos. Hey Flashman, how you doing? That said, since you mentioned Dice Rollin, go check them out, people. If you're looking for more horror content, Dice Rollin does some stuff. Pretty okay. Finished therapy. Very millennial. Yells at boomer in theme. Almost feel bad, but he's paid to hear the rant. Yep. That's the thing that you always got to remind yourself when dealing with therapists is that they are on your dime. You're paying for them. They are there for you. And so the normal anxiety about unloading your baggage onto people, it doesn't need to apply to a therapist because they're literally there for you to unload said baggage. Into silent horror movies, Guru? Back when I was younger, I got really obsessed with like going through every era of horror movies. Like when I was younger and super hyper fixating on shit like that. And so like back then I would try to see all the silent horror movies I could. And I liked a lot of them. These days I don't really seek out new silent horror movies to watch. I think the last one I watched was like it was one of those Lovecraft adaptations that the Lovecraft Society made, but I can't remember which one. Will you be seeing the new Haunted Mansion movie with Owen Wilson? Most likely. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters. I might wait for streaming, but I'm most likely going to see it. Because I know that not only does it look good compared to the Eddie Murphy movie, a lot of people are probably going to want to hear my thoughts on it because we famously did that video with Tony Goldmark on it. A remake of Jurassic Park closer to the book? That would be interesting. That would be interesting. It might have been Call of Cthulhu. Oh, did they just make a Call of the Cthulhu movie? Because at some point I seem to remember there was like a bunch of silent H.P. Lovecraft adaptations on streaming at one point. Like there was a bunch on Netflix at one point. But maybe Call of Cthulhu was the only one that the Lovecraft Society themselves made. Speed was pitched as a Beverly Hills Cop sequel, apparently. Nice. Which YouTubers have you met in person? I met quite a few, actually. At least a lot from my neck in the woods, the kind of stuff that I make. Like I've met a lot of the Channel Awesome people from back in the day. Linkara, and stuff like that. A lot of newer YouTubers I haven't really ever met because I don't really go to things like VidCon and stuff like that. Yeah. Back in the early days, going to MagFest and meeting a lot of online content creators like the JonTrons and the Linkaras and the Diamanda Hagens and people like that. I recommend Pitch Meeting Ryan George. Is that a YouTube channel? Call of Cthulhu is the one by the Lovecraft Society? Gotcha. Any underrated found footage movies to recommend? For me, stuff like Final Prayer, The Monster Project, and The House October Built. Okay. Have you seen the Hell House LLC movies? All three of those movies, really great. Oh, good. Just 20 minutes into it. Haven't missed much? Yeah, we've just been shooting the shit, man. How are you doing, Dr. Ghoul? The Haunted Mansion review sneaks into my mind around Halloween at the Halloween Target section. I want that lamp. I want that chair. I want that zombie right over there. Yeah, there's some good shit in that video. Pitch Meeting is a YouTube channel? All right, I'll check it out. The Lovecraft Society also made The Whisper in the Darkness. I think that's the one I saw. Because I don't remember... I think I would have remembered if it was Call of Cthulhu. I think it might have been The Whisper in the Darkness one. Afflicted! That's a great one. That's a great found footage film. Have you ever seen Haunt? Yeah, I enjoyed that movie. Yeah, check out the Hell House LLC movies. There are 3 of them, maybe 4. I've seen 3 of them. And I know that there's like some new ones on the horizon. Like they got like a prequel in production at some point, so. But the first 3 movies I really fucking dug. And they kind of build on each other too, so it's really nice. Speaking of Hell House LLC, have you heard about the spin-off Hell House LLC, The Carr Mitchell Manor? I think that's one of the ones that I was thinking of that they're working on. That's how I came across your channel and Count Jacula from Channel Awesome. It wasn't always the best, but I'm glad I came across this great YouTube channel. Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, like, I kind of miss those days to a certain extent. Like, before everything fell apart. But, whatever. Times change. Have you seen Pai Mac from Thailand? I have not. Do you recommend it? Vibing with the music. Trying to think of like some cool underrated found footage movies I could recommend. I tend to like mockumentaries like The Last Broadcast, Lake Mungo, Nor Ride the Curse. Then you'll probably like the Hell House movies, to be honest. The Hell House movies are designed as mockumentaries. I feel like I saw a mockumentary recently that was really good, but I'm now completely spacing out on what it was. I came across some great YouTube channels from Channel Awesome. Too bad that it fell apart, but thanks to that, I found the great content on YouTube. Hell yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today had I not stumbled across Channel Awesome back in like 2008. Do you like Sleepaway Camp 3 Teenage Wasteland? I actually enjoy all three of the first Sleepaway Camp movies. Like, not all of them are like masterpieces, but I enjoy those first three movies. The Megalodon mockumentary is pretty good too. Oh man, what's that called? I didn't know that existed. I have to check that out. A bit of nostalgia for the golden ages of reviewing. Yeah. It's funny because we called it reviewing. Like, even to this day, I sometimes refer to Blood Splattered Cinema as a reviewing thing. But I think Dr. Wolfula actually kind of nailed it. It's not really reviewing. It's riffing and reviewing. You're reviewing a piece of content, but you're also riffing it along the way. So I really like Dr. Wolfula. I think calls his versions of that video, of those types of videos, riff reviews, and I really like that because that's so true. That's what Blood Splattered Cinema is. It's a riff review series. It's a great horror comedy, also called Pai Kang Frekenong. I completely apologize to all my Asian viewers for my mispronunciation of all these words. Okay, I'll have to check it out, Jilton. Or J. Tilton. I'll have to check it out. Have you seen Son of Sleepaway Camp? I have not. Grave Encounters 1 and 2 are great found footage. Oh man, those movies are really fun and over the top. I dig them. My only problem with Grave Encounters is I feel like sometimes they go a little buck wild with effects that don't look real enough. But if you can look past that, they're really fun. Hey, Horror Guru, I finally caught you live. Awesome. Have you ever seen Stephen King's Storm of the Century? Thoughts? I saw Storm of the Century back when it, like, aired. I thought it was okay. Like a lot of Stephen King miniseries, they're very hit or miss. And sometimes they're hit or miss within themselves. Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson worked together on I Spy. Eddie Murphy and Rosario Dawson worked together in Adventures of Pluto Nash. Have you ever seen either of those movies? I have seen I Spy and I have seen The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Not the biggest fan of either of those movies. Though, to be clear, I do like Rosario Dawson, I do like Eddie Murphy, and I do like Owen Wilson. Just sometimes they don't put out the greatest movies. The Backrooms of Kane Pixels is a great found footage short. Is that like a YouTube analog horror thing? Still angry at the Discovery Channel for tricking me with a mermaid mockumentary. I was so hoping for it to be true. Yeah, at some point the Discovery Channel just decided to just fuck with people and like start posting the most unreal shit as if it was real. Blockbuster Buster, Brandon Tenold, Hagen, Phalis, Lupa, Count Jacula, The Horror Guru, Linkara, Stuckman, Some Jerk with the Camera I came across through Channel Awesome. Yeah, there's some great content creators that came out of that, you know. Okay, feeling like playing a B horror game. I'm kind of torn. On one hand, Resident Evil 4. On the other hand, Night Trap. Ooh, tough choice. If Midnight Meat Train got a sequel, it would be pointless. Yeah, well, I think that's why they haven't made a sequel to it, to be honest. What's the oldest horror film you like? I tend to growl at reviewers who get pissy at those old black and white things, where do your roots go? I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen that old silent film that inspired The Shining, where there's like just people trying to break into this woman's house. Like I like old shit. Like I was saying earlier in the stream, there was a period of time when I was hyperfixating on trying to watch every era of horror that I could, where I did go back and watch a lot of silent films and learn a little bit of the history of the silent era. And I just like it. I don't watch a lot of silent films to this day, but I appreciate the hell out of it. Nosferatu, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, great films. Do you like Black Mirror Season 6? I haven't watched it yet. I've heard good things about the new season of Black Mirror, but I've also, like, it was weird. The season dropped, and then my feeds on social media were all insanely positive of people going like, oh man, these episodes are great. Oh man, this is all wonderful. And then like a week passed, and all of a sudden my feed got filled with people hating the new season. And I don't know if it's because all the people that loved the new season watched it when it dropped and then stopped talking about it, while all the people who hated it continued to talk about it for a week. But it was like a weird whiplash in my feed regarding the new season of Black Mirror. Obviously, I'll have to see it for myself to find out. I do know that this season has a little less of the sci-fi future stuff that the entire show is kind of known for, but that doesn't actually bother me, because like the Twilight Zone and the Outer Limits also would diverge from their normal formulas a lot, and sometimes those would produce like the best episodes of those shows. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm looking forward to watching it when I have the time to sit down and watch it. Bradley Cooper is a huge star doing a sequel to Midnight Meat Train. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, I don't think he would want to go back to Midnight Meat Train at this point. Dude's out there making Oscar movies and in like one of the highest grossing movies of the summer. You don't need no Midnight Meat Train anymore. The Coraline video was what brought me to your channel. Oh man, I love that Coraline video. I don't have it on YouTube anymore, I don't think. Unfortunately, a lot of those adaptations episodes had to be taken down because of copyright issues. Basically, it's a classic Thai ghost story that decided, what if friends of the main character were all idiots? Hey, sounds good to me. I'm sold. I watched the Cabinet of Caligari and Nosferatu as well. Great stuff. Yeah. The vibe of Black Mirror has changed. Yeah, I mean, that's to be understandable. When a show has been going for 10 years, granted, it's only been 6 seasons in those 10 years, but when a show's been going on that long, some change is to be expected. Some adjustment, some, slowly growing differences. My favorite vintage horror is Boris Karloff's Black Sabbath. Hell yeah! Black Sabbath is a fucking masterpiece. Mario goddamn Bava. You cannot go wrong with Bava flicks. They always look gorgeous, and they're always pretty fun. It's weird seeing horror movies with actors and directors before they were huge in Hollywood. Yep. But here's the thing. That's the way it works. Because horror exists within the low-budget filmmaking realm. So a lot of people that are trying to, just get started in the industry usually end up working on a horror movie first. And then from that, springboarding on to a much larger career with more possibilities. There are, of course, some people who just love making horror movies, and that's just what they do, of course. My first Guru video was Basket Case. I fucking love Basket Case. That was a great video. I'm proud of that video. I still need to do the other 2 Basket Case movies. Ryan Hollinger is a gem of a YouTuber. I love Ryan Hollinger's content. He does great shit. I find his clickbaity titles sometimes a little annoying, but I tend to feel that way about most YouTubers that use that kind of clickbait format. But his content itself is phenomenal. He has a very cool hypnotic Irish accent. 100% he does. Stares at Peter Jackson. Thing about Peter Jackson is that he still loves horror, but it's obvious that his interests as a creator have moved beyond that. I mean, now he's barely even making like actual movies and now just making documentaries that he wants to make. The first Guru video for me was the Evil Dead review. Yeah. That was the Channel Awesome introduction one when I first got into Channel Awesome. If you actually go back and watch that video now, I think I say at the very beginning, greetings, Channel Awesome. I'm pretty proud of that video to this day. I think the clip of me fucking the blender has become one of my most reused clips. I love Blood Splatter Cinema. Thankfully, there should be a new one coming soon. I just gotta buckle down and finish it. Shout out to Meet the Feebles being canon to the Muppets, though. Fuck yeah! That was so awesome. If you have not checked out the Disney Plus series Muppets Mayhem, which is all about the band Electric Mayhem, in one of the episodes, Peter Jackson shows up, and they have an exchange where one of them's just like, "Oh yeah, we haven't seen you since we met the Feebles." So the Feebles are officially canon in the Muppets universe per this show, which is just, it makes me so fucking giddy. My first was, I think, Frankenhooker. Nice. I like your heavy metal horror reviews of Black Roses and Trick or Treat. Nice. I got a couple that I've been working on a script level. They're not finished yet, so hopefully I'll do another heavy metal one at some point soon. I want to get back into the habit of making them again. I said this on a different stream, but right before the pandemic happened, I released 7 or so episodes in a year of Blood Splattered Cinema. After a couple years of doing them 1 or 2 a year. And I had built up that momentum, and then the pandemic happened and a whole lot of shit happened in my life that kind of shook everything up. And then I went back to once a year, and I really want to get back to the pumping out more than that a year. Hopefully I can do that soon. I still need to watch that Muppet show. I recommend it. It's pretty fun. It's obviously intended for kids, but most Muppet stuff really are. It's got some adult jokes, though, like the Feebles one. Heck, I need to watch Dead Alive and Meet the Feebles. Hell yeah. Dead Alive, Meet the Feebles, Bad Taste. Go rent those 3 movies, either on a streaming platform or find them streaming somewhere. Watch all 3. You're going to have a good time, if you're anything like me. Morning, Robert Mason. How are you doing? By the way, if anyone knows where I can find a decent copy of Rock and Roll Nightmare, it is Rock and Roll Nightmare, right? Yeah, I think that's the one I'm looking for. Let me know, because everywhere I've tried to find a copy of it, it's always been a really terrible copy. And I've seen other people review the movie on YouTube and pull clips from the movie that look way better than the ones that I've been able to find. So I want to find a decent copy of that before I do it. I legit don't remember the first Guru review I saw. Honestly, the only thing I'd be shocked by is if there's anyone still around from when I did my Forest of the Dead video. Which I don't even know if that's still up. The blender and the kidney stone gag. Yeah. God, that's one of the things that's really rough for me, though. Like, YouTube, ever since the adpocalypse, has been so weird and strict about certain things that I never know when I'm crossing the line into demonetization. I push the line anyway, because at the end of the day, I still want Blood Splattered Cinema to be fun and to have the goofy, fucked up humor that kind of defines it. But I never fucking know. Hell, like, you know what my latest video I got demonetized for was? Beau is Afraid. There's no clips of the movie in it, but just talking about what happened in the movie got that video demonetized. It doesn't really bug me because, you know, Patreon and it's good advertising for the channel because that video is doing well despite being demonetized. But this is a good time to mention that if anybody out there wants to support the channel, super chats are always welcome, and so are subscribing to my Patreon page, which is just the Horror Guru. Which horror character would you like to go see? Would you like to see go the sci-fi route next? Personally, I'd love to see a sci-fi Halloween movie where someone accidentally programs a robot with Michael Myers' personality. Let's see. What would I like to go sci-fi? Honestly, it would never happen, but I would love to see a science fiction Pumpkinhead movie. First, people would have to start making good Pumpkinhead movies, which no one's made a good one past that first one. But second, they'd have to find a way to make a good one that's set in space or something. Have you made a Discord for the channel? I have a Discord, actually. I never promote it. Maybe I should. I had it for a little while when I was doing a lot of Twitch streaming, but then I got, like, tired of trying to maintain it. But I actually do have a Discord channel. Maybe I'll start promoting it on things. Hey, Ghost Pirate Entertainment, how you doing? I might be going crazy, but didn't you have a Black Christmas 1974 review? Yes, I did. All right. If anyone out there remembers my Black Christmas review, you might immediately be able to understand why it's no longer on YouTube. There is a joke that I opened that video with that I no longer feel comfortable having made. And because of that, I took the video down. And I just have not ever gone and re-edited it to edit that out. I think the first Horror Guru review I saw was The Green Inferno. Oh man, that movie's that's still one of our most popular vlogs. That and Tag. Tag, for whatever reason, is like immensely popular. I'm convinced someone posted the Tag vlog somewhere and listed it as the actual movie. But The Green Inferno is like one of our second most popular vlogs. An Evil Dead movie in space? Oh man, that could work. That could work. Black Christmas is the only time I've ever done this, by the way. It's the only time where I ever felt like one of my jokes went too far. Please do. I moved into John's Discord and it's among my favorite Discords. All right, guys. I'll go clean up my Discord and maybe start promoting it in the videos and on the streams. If you ever redo the review, would love to see it with your more enlightened self. I'm always so back and forth on redoing a video. That one, I might be justified in doing it for, just because of that. My problem is that I know no matter how good I will feel about a redone, remade Blood Splattered Cinema episodes, fans of the original version will most likely not like it. And I'm always back and forth on whether or not I want to poke that beehive by redoing an old video I don't like anymore. Also, there's a part of me that goes, man, it always takes me so long to make a normal video. Do I really want to go back and like redo an old one now? Just add more time to my production list? That moment when you were singing Photograph during the Nickelback review from Rocked always gets me. Nice. Hell yeah. I just got hit with a bunch of copyright hits for all my Black Christmas videos, so I had to cut out all of my lists with it. Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, that's one of the things that's really rough about doing horror content where you use clips from movies. The distribution rights for these movies are constantly shifting. You have all these companies that all produce like home video releases for these movies, and every time a new one gets gets the rights to release their home video copy, a new series of copyright strikes end up being thrown at people because now a new company owns the rights and they have a new policy about you using their clips. It's like I've had videos that went for a decade with no copyright strike that suddenly got one, and I've had videos that went a whole decade with a copyright strike, not strike, but like strike's a little harsh. I forget what the copyright notice thing is. But I've had videos that had one for a long time that went away when a new person bought it. Have you ever seen The Aggression Scale? I love The Aggression Scale. That's a very underrated movie. It's very Home Alone, but like with a crazy kid. Hey, Colin Jensen. How you doing? Have you seen Marquis? It's a 1989 French language puppet style film. I have not. I'll have to check it out. It's about the Marquis de Sade. All right. I got you and Jack to see the whole truth. Nice. Yeah. Film rights are so tricky for so many things. They're being under like 5 different companies. Yep. 100%. Like I have a weird copyright thing on my Pieces review, which makes me so sad because I know the Pieces review, if it didn't have that copyright on it and it wasn't demonetized, would be more popular than it is because I think it's one of the best videos I've ever made. Plus, it's about Pieces, which is a very popular movie in horror circles, but you know, it's not recommended to anyone because of the copyright thing. But it's not like no North American distributor docked me for that. It was like a random distributor in Italy. The classic story of horror itself, always being cut up. True. Not bad. Hope all is well. All's pretty okay right now. You know, hanging in there. Life itself is a mess and in flux, but me personally, in this moment, pretty zen at the moment. Never seen Pieces? Pieces is really fun if you like really cheesy, fucked up slasher movies. It's very goofy, but I love it. I know here in the UK, Studio Canal is re-releasing old movies and distribution on new movies, so that's screwy. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that these movies constantly stay in distribution for one reason or another. It's just frustrating having to deal with it on the content creator end. Green Inferno is the Cannibal Holocaust ripoff, right? Yeah. I mean, the idea of Green Inferno is that it is a love letter amalgamation of all those cannibal movies, like Cannibal Ferox and stuff like that. It doesn't write that you have copyright trolls out there. That's true. You do. Have you heard they actually arrested one of them? Nice. That makes me happy. Life is great. My head not so much. Well, I hope your head feels better soon. It's never good to have head pains. either physically or emotionally. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you haven't watched my Pieces review, you're going to have to look it up by actually typing in Blood Splattered Cinema Pieces. You should check it out. It's one of my favorite videos I ever made. And it's actually one that I made like a year or so ago. It always makes me sad because many people didn't see it because of the copyright thing. So people are like, oh, you haven't released a video in like 4 years. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I released one last year. Green Inferno is hilarious. Yeah, I find that movie very entertaining. Is Green Inferno the first and only time Eli Roth and Blumhouse teamed up for a movie? Didn't they work together on Knock Knock? Or was that a different company? If it's a different company, then Knock Knock kind of feels like a Blumhouse movie, if nothing else. I thought that the Kindred on Blu-ray Steelbook... Oh, I just bought the Kindred on Blu-ray Steelbook from Synapse. Really good creature effects. I have not actually seen the Kindred. I'll have to check that one out. Is that like a classic like 80s one, or is it a more recent one? No problem, Colin. Knock Knock was with a different company? All right, gotcha. I really dug Knock Knock too. Knock Knock is a type of erotic horror movie that we don't get very often these days. You guys should review Unwelcome. It's a Little Monsters movie by the guy who made Grabbers. We actually did watch that movie, and we intended to vlog it back... I want to say around St. Patrick's Day, but a bunch of shit happened and we never got around to it. I think Jack may have also had a depression spiral around that time too. I think. You guys should review... Oh, I already read that. You say Kindred and my brain goes to the Bad Vampire the Masquerade adaptation. Nice. Knock Knock was with Lionsgate? Alright, that makes sense. I'm taking my GF to see the new Insidious tonight. Nice! Nice. I hope you have a good time. Oh, Guru, last night's drive-in choice was really good. They had Phil Tippett on to talk about Mad God, and then followed it up with Perfect Blue. Oh, man. I never thought I would see the day that something like Perfect Blue was on the last drive-in, but that's glorious. I love it. I love this new era of Joe Bob's Drive-In, where he's just doing all these different movies that he normally would not have done back in the day. Knock Knock was the first time I lay eyes on Ana de Armas. I think so for me too. And I've never stopped looking since. But in all seriousness, yeah, she's gorgeous. The Kindred is a creature feature from the 80s. Took years to get on any format. Good, it's on Blu-ray now. I'll have to go to Synapse and check it out. Hell yeah. Thinking of rewatching Let Us Pray. One of the most romantic movies I've ever fucking seen. I love Let Us Pray. That's how I saw Tigers Are Not Afraid. Tigers Are Not Afraid is so fucking good. I really want more people to check that movie out. It's just such a good movie. Both those movies are so good. Agreed. Agreed. Mad God is a true, just trippy experience. And Perfect Blue, great choice to follow it up, honestly. That's inspired programming right there. I've never seen any movie from Satoshi Kon, which I'm disappointed in myself. Hey, do what I do. Take like a weekend and just go through a Satoshi Kon binge, you know? Watch Perfect Blue one night. watch Paprika another night, just, sit down and watch his movies. I think you'll have a good time. They're all really good experiences. It is such a shame that he was taken way before his time. Rest in peace, Satoshi. Now they have to get Vampire Hunter D and Helsing? That would be funny. Nagasa Oshama made Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. His film Empire of Passion was a slow descent into madness. I'm going to have to check out his films because I don't think I've seen any of them. Satan's marriage post Let Us Pray would be perfect because he's both the groom and just the witness. Tigers Are Not Afraid / The Devil. The Evil's Backbone double feature. Nice. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Oh, man. You have the Ring books and Dark Water and Audition. Nice. Nice. I've read the book version of Audition because I was gonna do a Blood-Splattered adaptations of it at one point, but the script I was writing got so long and complicated that I didn't feel like actually going through the effort of making it. It's one of those things where the analysis itself started to really overwhelm me because I was. Sorry about that. Accidentally opened up my own stream. I deal with emotional problems and horror movies help me. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, some people will not understand that, but it's like heavy metal music, right? Heavy metal music. It's very intense, in your face, aggressive, but it's calming for people. The people that like it, it truly calms them down and chills them out and helps them work through their issues. Horror movies are very much the same way. And some people, they just don't vibe with that. Some people, they operate differently. And that's fine for them. But you got to do you. Because Freaky, we haven't gotten many body swap horror movies, which is a shame because Freaky was phenomenal. It'd be cool to see more body swap horror movies. I'd be down for that. Satoshi Kon was a beast at drawing too. Hell yeah. That man was a true artiste. Hey, the mic is a pipe bomb. How are you doing, my friend? Hello, how are we doing? We're doing all right. How are you doing, Uso? Hopefully, you're all having a wonderful weekend. And if not, I hope your weekend gets better. Doing good? That's great. That is phenomenal. I'm hoping either tonight or tomorrow to get Jack to sit down and watch The Blackening with me so that we can vlog that. Heard good things about it. Have you ever seen a movie that after learning about who made it, you question the whole thing? That can happen sometimes, yeah. It goes back to that thing I was saying earlier, where for me personally, there's like this mathematical equation. Sometimes an artist's sin is too great for me to continue to support the art. And sometimes the art is so great that I'm still able to look past the sin. And there's like a balancing act in my head of like where things land. Sometimes the sin is really bad and the art isn't good enough to justify ignoring it. And sometimes the art is so good, the sin is always going to be there, but like I don't want the art to go away, if that makes sense. Like the art still means something to me. And it's very arbitrary and it's very personal, but it's the way my brain operates on that stuff. Greetings from Horror Geekdom Dungeon. Enjoying the new stream and chat. Hell yeah, how you doing, Tom? Haven't seen The Blackening yet because it's not released until August in the UK. Well, hopefully I'll be able to vlog it and let you know if it's worth it before then. When I dug into Bone Tomahawk, all of his movies have a gross conservative bent to them. Yeah, they kind of do. I like Bone Tomahawk, but they definitely do. They definitely do. Hold on a second. Much better. I'm doing all right. Got D&D tomorrow, and we're getting a new player with a unique multi-class choice, Ranger/Warlock. That should be interesting. Have you ever heard the Labyrinth sequel soundtrack created by Voltaire? I have not. I had no idea that existed. Good morning, RLM. How are you doing, my friend? I heard Bone T was good. Bone Tomahawk is a very good movie, in my opinion, but I think the problems with that filmmaker in general are very apparent in that movie. It's a case where I can look past a lot of the flaws because I enjoy the movie enough, but a lot of the problems with that filmmaker are present in that movie still. You should look into it. I think you'd like it. Yeah, I definitely have to look into it. Like I said, I had no idea that existed. No goddamn clue. By the way, I don't know if people noticed what's actually on this. Yep. Rest in peace, Eddie. People forget that Patrick Wilson is a fantastic singer. He's a Broadway actor and was in Phantom of the Opera in 2004. People are now realizing that he's a great singer from Insidious 5. Nice. I did not know that about him. Good to know. Doing all right. Rock on, RYLM. Rock on. Well, now I feel like watching Insidious 5 just for that. Yeah, I'm having the same feeling. Even though I have a lot of mixed feelings on the Insidious sequels. I've been having a hankering to play the old TMT RPGs. Nice. Nice. Go for it, my friend. It's super racist. The only evil native is just there for exposition. It also includes a gruesome scene in which the hero cuts jewelry from one of the dead natives' bodies. Yeah. Like I said, I enjoy that movie, but the problems with that filmmaker and their worldview, very apparent in that movie. It is a movie that does have a little bit of a racist bent when it comes to Native Americans. And the more movies you watch from that filmmaker, the more you realize that's not a fluke. Patrick did a song with Ghost for the new Insidious movie. Fuck yeah! That's awesome. Any chance of an old school review with written skits? I actually have one that I've been editing for a while now. Walter Goggins turned out to be a great singer on the Gemstones a couple of weeks ago. They had him doing a cover, and There'll Be a Payday Someday. Nice. God, it was a long walk from Home Depot. I work at Burger King. Oh, gotcha. Doing all right, Dylan. How are you doing? Love Ghost. Seen them 3 times live. I think. Have I seen them more than 3 times? I've seen them. I feel like I've seen them a lot, but it might have been around 3 times actually. I'd have to go back and try to remember each time. Jack and I have gone to see Ghost a couple times. Hey Giovanni, how you doing? Blood Quantum. Now that's a great movie. I enjoy Blood Quantum. Ghost is the Shiznat? Hell yeah. And you did just kind of give away your age with that, but it's okay. It's okay. Some of us are all old fucks around here. Background music, is it from a movie? No, the background music of this stream, for those of you who are just tuning in, is from White Bat Audio on YouTube, aka Karl Casey. He does royalty-free synthwave music with the intention of it being used in people's streams or for video content creation. If you like the music you're hearing right now, go to his YouTube channel below. He also has a Spotify account under Karl Casey, and he has a Bandcamp under White Bat Audio. Look him up, check him out, and maybe even use some of his music for your own streams. Tunchi made a horror film about early Puritan colonialists. All right. What's up, Guru? Nothing much. Just chit-chatting on the Saturday morning. Did you know that there's a new Sweeney Todd musical on Broadway with Gaten Matarazzo, Dustin Henderson of Stranger Things? Nice. Cool. I did not know that, as a matter of fact. Prediction for the new Exorcist trilogy: the first one will be great, the second one will be weird, and no one will like it, and the third one will be fine. Yeah, we'll have to see how it turns out. Okay, though, I'm getting texts and calls from a sus payment from either a scammer or my actual bank. All right, here's what I recommend you do in that instance. Do not respond to the calls. Ignore them. Call your bank directly. Go to your bank's website, find their call number, call them directly. That way you know you're talking directly to your bank, and they can confirm or deny to you if you have a bank problem or if spammers are just scamming you. Whoa, is he playing Toby? Yeah, it seems like he is. I'm a bit hesitant about David Gordon Green's Exorcist trilogy. I really loved his Halloween trilogy, but The Exorcist is a whole different beast. Yeah, I can see that. Honestly, I love David Gordon Green as a filmmaker in general, so I'm just kind of excited for anything he's making. We'll obviously have to see if The Exorcist turns out okay, but here's my honest opinion on that. There's been so many shitty Exorcist sequels in the last few years. I'm fine if David Gordon Green takes a crack and makes some more bad ones. I have not seen any of the new Black Mirror episodes. though I am excited to check them out. Judy Gemstone shows up and just slaps the devil out of the possessed person. Nice. I love the Righteous Gemstones. I know that like Twitter and TikTok were obsessed with the Succession, and I'm sure that show is great. Don't get me wrong. But Righteous Gemstones and Barry, those two are my HBO obsessions. Though Barry just ended, and fantastically, I might add. Yeah, I missed the Perfect Blue being played on Joe Bob Briggs too, but that's pretty awesome that he did that. I like the direction they went with the new season. I haven't watched the episodes, but I've heard of the new direction, and I actually really dig the idea, so I'm down to check it out. We have an Omen prequel coming out later this year. They've been making shitty Omen sequels and spinoffs for so long. No one's heard of them, and they're all bad. I have zero faith in a new one. Do you think we'll ever get a proper director's cut of Nightbreed? There is the Cabal cut out there, if you haven't picked that up yet. I don't know if we ever get a true director's cut because there's so much footage that was lost. Plus, I think Clive Barker has other things he's interested in these days because the man is old, tired, and has so many health conditions that he's lucky he's upright. I need to finish Barry because I've somehow avoided spoilers. Definitely check it out and finish it the first chance you get because, man, does that show get dark and I love it. Isn't an Omen prequel just Rosemary's Baby? Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I wish it would have been Wicked City instead of Mad God, but Mad God was awesome. Mad God is so good. Honestly, I think Perfect Blue was just the only thing that you could think of that would follow up Mad God well. I think Mad God was the first choice, and then Perfect Blue was decided based on that. I need to catch up with a lot of TV shows. I'm in the same boat. I have the first half of the season 3 of The Witcher to catch up on. I'm working my way through the new season of Never Have I Ever now, which is a show is a huge guilty pleasure of mine. And I still haven't caught up on Shadow and Bone season 2. Righteous Gemstones is airing right now. Warrior dropped a new season that I'm currently working my way through. I think they only have like 3 or 4 episodes up so far, but I fucking love Warrior. If you are a martial arts fan and you're not watching Warrior on Max, check out Warrior. Trust me, that show is so worth it. And there's a couple other shows that dropped new stuff that I need to catch up on. Also, I'm working my way through Secret Invasion as well, so a lot of shows. I'm mostly binging Outlander to compare to one of my erotic high/low fantasy stories, and to that in terms of visual media as it's the most popular romance fantasy. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. All right, so Warrior has a ton of Chinese and Asian actors in general. It is a movie set during the early days of the Tong Wars in San Francisco. Like, we're talking like post Gold Rush, olden times Tong Wars. And it is about a one guy who travels from China to San Francisco to find his sister, and he gets engulfed in this huge Tong War. And it's the dude who played Snake Eyes' brother in the Snake Eyes movie. Well, not brother, but his like rival guy, the guy in the white suit. That actor is the main character in Warrior. The other fun thing about Warrior is that it originally started as a show that Bruce Lee wanted to do back in the day before he passed away, and his family finally got the show made with a different cast. Now, it was originally on Cinemax, and then Cinemax merged with HBO and became HBO Max. And then HBO greenlit it, but the pandemic happened, and now finally 3 years later we got a season 3. Now that it's just Max. What We Do in the Shadows is also coming back. Hell yeah. Yeah, the show is also a love letter to Bruce Lee as well. The Snake Eyes movie has the best cast of any G.I. Joe movie. I agree. I just saw with my partner Brand New Cherry Flavor. Fuck yes! Brand New Cherry Flavor. That show is so underrated. Or that miniseries is so underrated. I love that. Oh my god, the moment she fucking... the moment she pulled that cat out of her body. Masterpiece. Masterpiece. Brand New Cherry Flavor, so good. And by the way, if you need like go look up like a trailer for Warrior. It'll give you a pretty good vibe of what that show's like. There's a lot of violence, there's a lot of sex, and there's a lot of crime, and most of all, a shit ton of martial arts. Will you see the Barbie movie? Probably. I'm actually one of those people who's unironically looking forward to both Barbie and Oppenheimer. It's not just an ironic joke for me. Greta Gerwig's a great filmmaker. Christopher Nolan's a great filmmaker. I'm down to see both of their new movies. Minx Season 2! Oh man, that's also coming. Yeah, it's on Stars now, right? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I was so sad when fucking Zaslav canceled that. They had finished filming the season, and then they canceled it. And I was like, what the fuck? You filmed it! Fucking air it! Oh man, I love Minx. That show is so much fun. It's funny, I'm a horror guy, but my taste is so expansive that I love a lot of stuff beyond horror. So like someone goes like, "Oh, yeah, you're really into Minx?" Yeah, it's a fucking hilarious show. Barbenheimer double feature for the win? Yeah. So that's how cats are made. My same thought after watching Brand New Cherry Flavor. Storm Shadow. Yes, Kaiju Z. The guy who played Storm Shadow is the main character of Warrior. Last podcast on the left just did a Manhattan Project deep dive. Nice. The Barbie film looks bizarre, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It reminds me a lot of the Brady Bunch movie from the 90s. I don't know if that's entirely the vibe it's going to have, but I really love that Brady Bunch movie, so... That scene in Warrior about the black guys going into that Irish bar was so compelling. Fuck yeah. Warrior has some of the most like intense tension of any show currently on the air. Also, I gotta give that show credit. There's that one racist Irish guy who's like the leader of the Irish part of town. That is one of the most compelling characters I've ever watched, and he's a complete fucking racist. In other words, Warrior is like if you put a Bruce Lee character from the 60s and early 70s into a Chinese American Peaky Blinders. Correct! That is a very great description. Chinese American Peaky Blinders? Yep. That is a great description. But with a lot of martial arts. Like, it's not going to see the Mario movie because I grew up with the Mario and have a new nostalgic attachment to the franchise, unlike Barbie. Yeah, that makes sense. For me, it's not about Barbie or the subject matter of Oppenheimer. It's, I like Greta Gerwig and I like Christopher Nolan. There's many movies where the subject matter is normally not my thing, but I'll see it because I like the person making it. And usually I'll end up being sold on the thing while I'm watching it. I mean, who doesn't like martial arts? Exactly, Danny. Exactly. Hurricane Maddie mentioned last podcast to the left to the series on the Manhattan Project. I suggest everyone in the chat go listen to them. I'll have to do that. Yeah. Sounds interesting. Though I do know this one girl who I'm friends with who on Discord is also into horror, and she is also a fan of Barbie since childhood. Hey, I mean, that exists. I have close personal friends who are massive, massive horror fans, but also super obsessed with Disney. It exists. Nothing wrong with it. Look at me. Like, I'm a huge fucking horror fan. I have a channel dedicated to horror movies. I talk about horror movies 24/7, but I'm also into Star Trek. I'm also into Lord of the Rings. I'm also into Star Wars. Like, I'm into a shit ton of stuff. I'm into anime. I'm currently working my way through some of the stuff that I need to catch up on the Wano arc of One Piece. You know? People got varied tastes, you know? Like, these are the spices of life, variety. Dare you to drag Jack to Barbie? I don't think I'll ever be able to drag Jack to Barbie. Barbie's a movie that I'm either going to go get one of my other friends to go see with me, or I'm just going to go check it on my own. I don't think Jack has any interest in Barbie. And honestly, why would he? It's like, it's nothing that appeals to him. Like horror fans being fans of WWE and AEW. Yeah, 100%. Nolan's fan base does overwhelm 100%. Before Snyder fans were the most obnoxious film fans, Christopher Nolan fans were. They were kind of like the proto Snyder fans. The difference being Nolan's films are generally actually more meaty than Snyder's films are. So there's a little bit more pretension to Nolan fans than Snyder fans usually, because Snyder fans tend to be more bro-y. Nolan fans tend to have this like, I am smarter than you attitude. But there's definitely a similarity between how obnoxious the fan bases were for those two guys. And not too surprising, the connection between both of them is they both fucking like created a DC hero franchise that got people obsessed with them. There is 100% a difference between an obsessive Nolan fan who is an obsessive Nolan fan because of The Dark Knight and an obsessive Nolan fan who remembers watching him when he made Insomnia and Following and his early films. Same thing with Snyder fans. The Snyder bros that are really into his DC stuff, different breed than the people who've been there since Dawn of the Dead. For one thing, the people that have been there since Dawn of the Dead remember that James Gunn wrote that movie. Have you seen Chainsaw Man? I have not seen Chainsaw Man yet. I've been meaning to, but I got so much other stuff that I've been watching lately. I think everyone has niches that would surprise people. Yep, 100%. I don't think anyone's truly in one box unless they're really hyperfixated. Unless someone has such a narrow taste and hyperfixates on that taste all the time, generally people have multiple avenues of interests. I'm indifferent to Barbie now, but if you were to ask me what I thought of Barbie when I was not 5 or 10 or 11 years old, I would have said Barbie is stupid since it's for girls. I mean, yeah. Marketing for toys kind of design themselves that way. There's girl toys and there's boy toys. And the marketing made it very clear that you're here for the boy toys. And if you're here for the boy toys, fuck those girl toys. It's actually one of the problems that video games have been dealing with for a couple decades now, because the early days of video game advertising was very gendered. Now, video gaming is been shown to not just be a gender exclusive thing, and so advertising has kind of shifted since then, but there's still those echoes of the early days. This is a hot take. Zack Snyder has only made one good movie, and that is Dawn of the Dead. There's a couple other movies of his I really enjoy, so I'm not sure I would just go with Dawn of the Dead, though I do like Dawn of the Dead. It's blue for boys and pink for girls. Duh, it's science. Yeah, that kind of shit. I would recommend Chainsaw Man. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of recommendations for that. I really got to check it out. The manga is a second favorite shonen after One Piece. Right now, One Piece is my main favorite shonen, but I'm also into Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaijin. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Jujutsu Kaisen. I really like those two as well. I also really dig My Hero Academia. But I definitely need to check out Chainsaw Man. I like Fire Force, but Fire Force has this one glaring problem that keeps annoying me. And that's that it does this really annoying thing that a lot of shonen anime do, where it like objectifies the shit out of its female characters. Like, there's a character in Fire Force whose literal superpower is getting people to grope her. Like, that's her superpower, but she doesn't have control over it, so it just keeps happening when she doesn't want it to. And it's always played as like a fun little gag and a laugh. But I've reached this point in age where that stuff's not as funny to me anymore. It's kind of gross. I want me some boy toys and girl toys, if you know what I mean. Oh, yeah. Go get yours. And it's a shame because I really enjoy Fire Force, but Fire Force keeps having that pop up and I'm just like, oh God. The gender thing is still there. It's just more subtle. Yeah, true. It's not as bad as when I tried to watch 7 Deadly Sins. That is even worse than Fire Force, because 7 Deadly Sins does this thing where its main character... Okay, first off, 7 Deadly Sins has this habit of constantly having characters fall in love with ancient people that are like thousands of years old but are trapped in like toddler bodies. Once was weird, twice was uncomfortable, 3 times is, okay, now this is a fetish. Now this is a fetish, and I'm not down with you constantly doing this. The other thing 7 Deadly Sins did that constantly got on my nerves is the main character constantly has these funny moments where he would just grope this girl character. And then like the show tried to like turn it into a romantic love interest thing. Like, oh, she doesn't like when he gropes him, but she secretly does. She's secretly in love with him. And I'm just like, yeah, this is gross. I'm sorry. I know this is intended for like 13-year-olds, but this is a really terrible message to send to 13-year-olds personally. And I'm not normally the guy who clutches pearls like that, but both Fire Force and 7 Deadly Sins crossed a line that I didn't know I had. And that is my rant about Fire Force and Seven Deadly Sins. Didn't expect to have that today, but there you go. Hello, Devin Boca. How you doing? Anybody's thoughts on Gundam the Witch from Mercury? I don't really have any thoughts on that. I haven't watched it. One thing I will 100% recommend, the new Trigun anime is really good. The one that's actually a more closer adaptation to the manga, really good. The century-old lolly, yeah. And here's the thing, they did it once. The main character of that show is like a 1,000-year-old fucking demon guy trapped inside of a toddler body, and I'm like, okay, that's once. And then they did it multiple times. And then they like had like another character, it's like, oh, he's in love with this fairy who's this 1,000-year-old fairy trapped in a fucking toddler body. And I'm like, okay, this is way too weird a pattern. You guys are doing it constantly. I'm not comfortable anymore. Goblin Slayer and the Rise of Shield Hero and certain fantasy anime I'm never watching. Fair enough, yeah. I've never watched those two, to be honest. Chainsaw Man is a phenomenal story. Rock on. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, Trigun Stampede. That's the one. That one's really good. I've been enjoying that. Oh man, have we been going for an hour and a half? Damn. I might need to wrap up soon. All right, everybody. Send me your last questions or interesting topics, or if you want to send super chats, feel free to send those. I could always use those. But we're going to wrap this up in the next few minutes. I have watched all of Owl House again. Great series. Yes. Owl House is a fucking masterpiece. If you like Gravity Falls and Over the Garden Wall, you owe it to yourself to check out Owl House on Disney+. Fantastic series. It's a real shame that they had to do a condensed version of a season 3, because you can really see how they could have expanded it, but I'm glad that they got a finale anyway. See the new Marvels trailer? Yeah, it looks so good. Can't wait. The last fantasy anime I watched and enjoyed was Yona of Dawn and the Heroic Legend of Arslan. I have not seen either of those. I'll have to check them out. Honestly, Interview with a Vampire is the best way of handling the really hundreds of years old trope. Yes, Interview with a Vampire handles it very well. Interview with a Vampire does not feel like a fetish. It feels like actually trying to explore this really interesting aspect of vampireness. How, like, what would happen if someone who was really young was turned into a vampire and then got older and older but was trapped in a prepubescent body and stuck in an eternal, like, state of, like, pre-puberty. And it makes for a very interesting, compelling story about that. And also is very clear that this is a fucked up situation and that it is horrifying. Seven Deadly Sins kept doing the 1,000-year-old child thing as like a romance plot. I don't know about that. Have you seen American Mary? I love American Mary. Great movie. Have you seen any of Goku the Female Shogun? I have not. Do you recommend it? If you love Gravity Falls, Liam, check out Owl House when you get a chance. I think you'll dig it. The entire concept of Owl House is it's this girl, this very ADHD addled, like fangirl type girl, who is being sent off to this like correctional school. But instead of going off to the school, she ends up getting like sucked into this magical world where there's monsters on this island and befriending this crazy lady who's this witch in the woods. And they end up going on like huge fantasy adventures and like saving this magical isle of monsters. It's a very fun show. It's got a lot of horror elements, but it's also got a lot of fantasy elements. And it's very Gravity Falls-esque in tone. If you like the humor and tone of Gravity Falls, you'll like Owl House. Favorite robot and super robot anime? I have a huge soft spot for G Gundam. For some reason, hearing Seven Deadly Sins is like Third Rock from the Sun, but isn't a comedy. I mean, there's a lot of comedy in Seven Deadly Sins. I just don't think some of the stuff they do is that funny. Like, it's way too obsessed with sexual assault as a joke, if that makes sense. And sexual assault can be funny. I do a lot of jokes like that on my channel, but you don't get the impression that the joke is that it's fucked up. I don't know how to explain it. It's there's a difference between, oh, I did this really edgy over the top thing that's fucked up and I can't believe you said that, and oh man, he keeps touching her all the time. Isn't that cute? There's a difference, in my opinion. I don't know exactly what makes that difference, but there is one. I had one of the sisters that created American Mary comment on one of my tweets about a possible series. That'd be cool. Did the creator of Gravity Falls work on Owl House? Yes. And the creator of Gravity Falls is actually a voice actor in Owl House. He voices Hootie. I'm really enjoying these new live streams. I'm at home sick and these vids have been lovely. Thank you so much for the donation, Nicole. You are awesome. And I'm glad that I've been able to help you while you've been sick. The plot reminds me of Night Dreams. Nice, I can see that. Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, I am going to wrap this up. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful weekend. And, yeah, hopefully we'll come together and do another stream sometime soon. But I really want to get some vlogs up on my channel, so hopefully I can get Jack to sit down and watch some movies this weekend. Peace out, and I'll catch y'all later.